Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat here, and welcome back to the channel. With Arc 3.0 having been launched for a couple of weeks now, we've all been super fascinated about Jolt, but I've completely forgotten about the other half of this, which is the blind aspect of our Arc 3.0 build. Before Arc 3.0 came out, I was a little bit dubious about our Arc builds, as they generally require close combat to be effective, and when you're 20 so under light, it's quite dangerous. But with blind, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because if you knock out their eyes, you can just get up nice and tight and knock them out very easily. So today's build is going to focus on two things: double, triple, quadrupling down on our blind and resistance. So we are going to be using the exotic legs, the Bombardiers. This has an armor perk called Parting Gifts, so when we dodge, this leaves behind an explosive that detonates after a short delay. This damage targets around it, and it's also going to give a blind effect as we're on Arc 3.0 Hunter. Now the bomb itself is actually deceptively strong. If you're at or above the light level, it's generally going to kill a red bar, but if it doesn't, the blind is our goal. We want to be able to chain blind with this build, so the more things that are blind, the more we can chain it to other enemies. This build is particularly strong against anything like thralls, war beasts, and screebs, anything that's going to come and actually attack you at your feet. But the main thing I love about these is I just seem to have like a fist full of get out of jail free cards. It's super good at slowing down play. So we're going to be using Spark of Beacons whilst we're amplified. Our Arc special weapon final blows create a blinding explosion. What I like about this mod is it just allows you to wade in deep to as many ads as you want, and just because they're all blind, they don't even know you're there. You can just take your time murking them all. This will work with your favorite shotgun, fusion rifle, sniper rifle, glaive, GL, it doesn't matter. We will be using Spark of Brilliance. Defeating a blinded target with precision damage creates another blinding explosion. So this frees it up, so now we can use kinetic damage as well, as long as it's precision. So we get that blind effect off, and then we just go for the heads, clean it up, and they're all going to be blind and not going to see me lopping their heads off like some evil lumberjack. So our first aspect, Lethal Current. After dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted target with the melee attack will also blind them. So not only does our dodge blind, but so does our fist now as well. So anytime an ad is late to the party, we just knock him in the nose and then he's blind as well. We're also going to be running Flow State, so when we defeat a jolted target, this makes us amplified. And amplified feeds into our fragments that we perpetually get our blinding effects through our weapons. So now we have threefold blinding on this build. And a lot of this build focuses around the fisticuff aspect of this. The Arc Hunter loves slapping things in the face, so we're going to need to use our Gambler's Dodge. So when we dodge next to an enemy, it's going to give us a free melee charge, so that we can go and smack something in the nose, make it pay, it won't even see it coming. I'm not feeling bad about it. It does feel criminal, but I don't feel bad at the same time. These Hive had it coming. Our melee of choice is going to be the Combination Blow. So defeating targets with this ability will fully refill your class ability energy and restores a small amount of health as well. So this is the ebb and flow of this. Dodge, punch, dodge, punch, dodge, punch. They're always blind and you're always getting their health back. So it frees you up to get in nice and close. They don't see the punches, you're getting health back. It works fluently. And it happened that I realized something about this build, that it's got quite the similarity with the Void Hunter. I love playing Void Hunter, a lot of us do, because we like being invis. So we take ourselves away from their eyes, but this build takes the eyes away from them. So it's the same thing, same playstyle, just in the reverse order, if you know what I mean. So it actually works quite well, and for any Void Hunters out there, maybe give this a go, because it is actually quite strong. And you got Blink as well. Who could not want Blink? Blink works really well with this because you close in that gap, so you can get in there nice and tight that much quicker and that much faster. We also have flashbang grenades for this as well, so we can chuck a flashbang, get blind from afar, and then get in there nice and quick, nitty gritty, so we can get into a slap fight, and they're all blind after that, and then the game is over. You won. So hopefully by now you're starting to see the synergy of this build. I've been using it to solo a lot of activities, as they can't see me coming because My melee blinds them, my dodge blinds them, my grenade blinds them, my weapons blind them. Everything is blinded because I just have unlimited resources of this. Now our next fragment choice is a little bit of quality of life. We're using Spark of Bolts, so our finishes are going to make us amplified. Finishes are really easy to get on this build because they're all blind, so you can kind of just tap them down. Quite often the little Bombardier will get them to finish, but if not, just put a couple of bullets in them, knock them down a little bit, and they'll be an easy finish. And this is just to get amplification a lot easier, so that way our weapon kills get the blind effect a lot easier. So it's just a little quality of life thing. You don't need this. You can run it differently if you want. I just found it helped the ebb and flow of the build the best. We're also using Amped Up to push the amplification out to 20 seconds. This just helps you from encounter to encounter, and Trace Evidence is just going to give us some more arc abilities thanks to those Sonic Traces. Now this build is very versatile on weapons. I used to use Pardon all the time, but because the Spark have Brilliance, I can turn my salvo into essentially the same thing, plus I got, Ball Pull, Chain Reaction, Ambitious Assassin, Demolition is at my disposal as well. So this has just changed the way I look at all my arc weapons. One of my favourite weapons to run with this is the Nezaric's Whisper. Arc Glaive, just go in there, melt things up, swap them around. I'm running Tilting at Windmills, so you block damage with your shield. This increases your movement speed as well whilst you're shielding. And then Unstoppable Force, blocking damage with your shield for a short time increases the damage and duration. In terms of our armor mods, we're going to go for a resilience build. We're using Well of Tenacity, triple stacked. So when we pick up a Void Elemental Well, this reduces the incoming damage. Additionally, we're going to be running Spark of Resistance, so whilst we're surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. This is another 30% to your resist on top of your resilience buff. I'm running 100 resilience on this to give me another 40%, so I'm really pretty tanky, but that added resilience is quite good. Particularly, when you're nice and tight, but you still got to worry about like long range snipers when you're running in amongst their pals, just knocking heads. You're still susceptible to snipers, so that always helps. We're also running Elemental Time Dilation and Reaping Wellmaker to make our Well Tenacities work, so we just simply dodge. We're always dodging, get a weapon kill, and that'll make us tanky again. We will be double stacking Thermoshock Plating. This reduces the incoming solar and arc damage. So now we've got all these resistant buffs that are going to make us tanky, because snipers seem to be the biggest downfall of this build. When you're up close, you're actually in your element. Even 20 under light, I feel perfectly safe sitting up under their noses, just jabbing them in the chin. But snipers are the downfall, so that's why we've kind of spec'd into a resilience build for this. There is plenty of space on your helmet to run the ammo finders that your build is going to require. Same again in the scavenger space, there's 5 slots there available, so you can use whatever scavs you want. Anyway, my damies, that's pretty much the nuts and bolts of this build. In summation, we've got 4 different ways to blind things. The more things are blind, the more we can just shoot them in the face and walk away laughing. So this works in dungeons. I've soloed a couple of dungeons with it. I've used it in in-game activity like 20 under, and it works perfectly well. I dare say this will work well in GMs and master level raids and things like that. So yeah, give it a go for yourself and see if you like it. Anyway, if you did like it, hit that thumbs. If you're new and you liked it, hit that sub. Until next time, tippy tie my damies, what a tie. Bottom of everything, he's the most tip-top.